I wake up that morning and like all the pain is down my leg, like it's crazy again after I had the first surgery. And he's the one that wrote the report. Is like, yeah, he probably won't ever play again. Yeah, he probably won't ever play again.
Man, the news I'm about to bring you guys is pretty epic. Earlier this week, I seen a clip of Michael Porter Jr. speaking about his health going forward, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty worried. But before we get into that, welcome back to another video here with NBA Addict TV, where we provide the latest NBA content on the tube. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that post notification button to not miss a single video, and let's get straight to the video. Alright, so we all know that in Michael Porter Jr.'s freshman year at Mizzou, he suffered a back injury in the first 2 minutes of his college career, and that would change his life forever. Now, this injury was incredibly severe. It actually led to him needing surgery due to a herniated disc in his back. MPJ was in a whole lot of pain, and the discomfort that MPJ was suffering was due to small tears in the outer layers of the intervertebral disc that allowed important lubricating material to leak out. Or, to simplify this injury, is comparing it to poking a hole in a jelly donut, and the jelly causes inflammation and internal bruising. But getting surgery to fix this was not the end of MPJ's problems. So, after recovering from that initial surgery and preparing for the upcoming NBA draft and getting ready to work out for several teams, one day he woke up and literally could not move and get out of bed due to the pain he was suffering. Now, this is when the red flags start to appear, because that led him to needing a second surgery. Now, as teams come to evaluate these prospects, several NBA team doctors were sent to see MPJ to evaluate where his health stands, and this is the moment where his draft stock takes a huge hit. Now, keep in mind, this evaluation by the team doctors are prior to MPJ's second surgery, so MPJ is still in excruciating pain being evaluated. It was the infamous Clippers doctor that wrote the diagnosis that MPJ would never play basketball again. But the Denver Nuggets decided to take a chance on him with the 14th pick, and doctors advised any team that does decide to take Michael Porter Jr. that they be extremely patient with him and that he will not return to peak performance until his second year. Now, fast forwarding to his rookie year that he obviously didn't play in due to him having to recover from his second surgery, and many fans start to wonder when will they get to see Michael Porter Jr. on the court again. Now comes his second year in the league, where he ends up only playing 55 games at 16 minutes per game, which consisted mostly of garbage time minutes. But when MPJ was given a consistent role on the Denver Nuggets, he fully emerged in the bubble, where he averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds on 47 field goal percentage and 38% from 3 in his first playoff appearance. And I'm sure he had that Mike Jones song, "Back Then They Didn't Want Me, Now I'm Hot, They All On Me," blasting in his headphones in the pregame warm-ups, because this is when he cemented himself as a star on the rise, and now comes his third year. Now, this is his second year officially, where doctors said we will see peak performance from Michael Porter Jr., and he did not disappoint. MPJ continued to improve and showed that he is an elite scorer, averaging 19 points per game, 7 rebounds on 54 field goal percentage and 44% from 3. And you guys already know that I believe MPJ will go down as the best scorer in NBA history when it's all said and done, if he remains healthy. And if you haven't seen that video, the link is in the description. But where things start to get scary for the future of MPJ is in the playoffs this year, specifically in the series against the Phoenix Suns, where in game 1, in that loss, Mike Malone had told reporters that Michael Porter Jr. had tweaked his back, and this is the last thing that a Nuggets fan would want to hear. Already down Jamal Murray to a torn ACL, Will Barton and PJ Dozier cannot stay healthy consistently. And now to just have the thought that your young superstar's health is in jeopardy once again, with 2 back surgeries under his belt already, and a third one would just further complicate things. And throughout that series against the Phoenix Suns, although he did play, he did not look like himself on offense or defense, and Michael Porter Jr. ain't known to be a lockdown defender, so he was certified barbecue chicken on D. Alright, it's been 4 years since that initial surgery, right? And doctors say that there is a 10 to 12% chance that someone has a setback in 5 to 10 years since the injury. It is unfortunate to say, but MPJ is now in that 10 to 12% range. as he is on his second setback since his first surgery. Michael Porter Jr. is only 23 years old and still has a lot of potential and a very high ceiling, but are we starting to see why all 12 teams passed on this young man? What we don't want to see is that these series of injuries take a toll on him, not only physically but also mentally. It is easy to let these setbacks affect your mentality on the court, whether you're trying too hard to prove that you're still that guy or you're holding yourself back, trying not to suffer another injury. All I can say is I hope MPJ can find an area in between, similar to Derrick Rose or Zion Williamson, who realized that their playstyle negatively impacted their body and adjusted to a smarter style while also being an elite player at their position. Now, this clip from JJ Redick's podcast is what made me nervous.
Do you have an end game? Do you have like, what is the best version of me? Have you thought about that, visualized that, written that down?
You know, I used to be like, man, I want to be better than him. I want to be better than him. I want to be the best. Now for me, it's just like, because of the uncontrollable things that have happened to me, it changed my perspective to, I'm gonna just get up every day, try to be better than I was the day before, and then leave the potential up to God. Like if I'm giving my best every day and making sure my mental game is strong, playing with confidence, I don't want to put a ceiling on myself and say like, oh, if I'm better than him, then I will feel like I had success. It's just like, no, if I'm working as hard as I can every day and God continues to keep me healthy, then I'm good. Because there's been some uncontrollable things. It's like no matter how much core I do, no matter how much whatever I do, it's like something could still happen.
MPJ says that prior to his injuries that he had higher expectations for himself, and now that no matter what he does, he continues to have setbacks, his focus has changed and he puts his future in God's hands due to the unpredictability of the reoccurrences of his injuries. Man, it's just tough to see another player with star potential fall due to nagging injuries. We were already robbed of Tracy McGrady, Brandon Roy, Penny Hardaway, and Derrick Rose. But all we can do is hope that his career turns out for the best and we get to see the domination of MPJ that we witnessed in high school. With that being said, guys, let me know what you think the future has in store for MPJ and if we actually should be worried about the young star. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next video.